a Dear Media original podcast.
Today's episode is brought to us by ZocDoc. When we're not feeling our best and we're just trying to hold it all together, finding great care should not take up all our energy. That's where ZocDoc comes in. Using their free app that millions of users rely on, you can find the right doctor that meets your needs and fits your schedule. Book an appointment with a few taps in their app and start feeling better faster with ZocDoc. Thousands of medical professionals on ZocDoc are there to help you. They listen like a friend and they give you the expert care that you really need. I was sick recently and I looked around on the app and I really appreciated that there were so many people right by me. It made it really easy for me. And the last thing I wanted in that moment was to have a bunch of steps, and I appreciated that they were all done right there in one app. The thing I really love about ZocDoc is it just makes it really, really easy. You can choose from thousands of patient-reviewed doctors and specialists, browse doctor profiles, upload and verify all your insurance information, and get the care that you really need. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. Go to ZocDoc.com/instincts and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/instincts. ZocDoc.com/instincts. Hi, welcome to Good Instincts. I'm Shira Barlow, but you may know me as the food therapist. Join me every Monday through Friday for bite-sized episodes designed to help you close the gap between where you are right now and where you want to go. This should feel good, like really good. And it will, I promise. So today we have my friend Suzanne Hall. She's amazing. She's the co-founder and editor-in-chief of Chalkboard Magazine. And she's also just someone that I really love to talk about wellness stuff with. We had a chat recently and I was like, we should do this on here in here. So thank you so much for being here.
Yes, I'm so excited, Shira. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And, the thing about it is I think because of what you do, and you've been in the editorial wellness space for so long.
So long.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Not to like age us out. It's always fun when we talk about this. And I was curious, like, what you're seeing, what you kind of are predicting, what's like interesting you?
I think the ultimate trend right now in wellness is just the deepening of things and the emotional mental health aspect. So, which is really something I love. So I'm very happy to see. I think 10 years ago, what we were talking about on the site, we could never go the places we're going now or feature some of the maybe woo-woo people that we feature, or just some of the in-depth topics that might have been too much for people. I think even with this COVID period, people have been forced possibly into being more self-reflective because of just the hardships and the very nuanced stresses of the past couple of years. People are they really need it as much as they needed nutrition a few years ago. So that's a very exciting part of wellness, is people understanding I could be eating all the broccoli in the world, but if I'm not dealing with my trauma or I'm not managing stress well, I'm truly not going to be okay.
I completely relate to that in this show, especially because there are conversations that you think it's going to go one way. Like I had this amazing OBGYN, Dr. Sterling, on, and, we were just talking about really kind of practical logistical things. And then one of the big pillars of that was basically surround yourself by people that you feel
safe for.
That you have that community with, that you feel good and feel comfortable saying no to things that you don't want to do. That's been a huge theme in this show, of guests coming on and being like, I'm someone that used to be a people pleaser and all these things.
Yes.
And now I just had to be it's better to disappoint someone else than to disappoint myself and overflow my cup and then not be able to take care of myself.
Absolutely. I think that's a big theme, across the entire culture, but especially in wellness. I think people are kind of looking to wellness now to support themselves, because there's this huge theme of burnout and a recalibration of the pace we were all moving at before, and how do we move forward now? What's the new normal? And I think a lot of it has to do with the slower pace. And you even see very fun and silly trends like prairie dresses that are kind of keying into this deeper thing of a slower pace of life. Somehow prairie dresses find their way into like my wellness lexicon, even though
That's
it's truly
funny.
like a fashion trend. But
It's funny that you say that about like slower life because one of the things I like flagged in my mind to talk to you about was that like now obviously it's all like slow girl summer, but you've had like a slow girl, like let's say 4 years.
yeah.
And I was wondering if you wanted to talk about that a little bit and what that looks like for you in terms of not even like say as much or as little as you want
Yeah,
about it.
no,
But I
I mean,
think you've really
you know me,
lived
you're going to
that.
have to help me say less. No, I had a as I had like a really big moment of grief in my family, losing my mom like a year before COVID. And I was so grateful to one of my like wellness pros that I really trust for tripling down on this message to me that if you don't rest now in this grief stage, like if you don't really allow yourself to process, I see so many clients that it shows up as disease 5 years from now.
Ooh.
And as someone who is very caffeinated, fast paced, like I love to move fast. I love to do a lot. And my job is very, you're a human octopus, just getting into everything and covering everything. It was so important for me to hear because it gave me permission. It really validated something that I really needed. Like, I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. We all thought we were moving at this kind of whatever pace we were moving before COVID. And I think a lot of my friends relate to this when we talk about when lockdown, everything happened, you were like, oh, wait, this is a slow pace. I thought I was already like handling my stress, slowing down and like not moving at such a, maniacal American pace. But I think the past couple of years have shown all of us like, oh, even what I was doing to manage my stress was still like so insane of a stress level and a pace level. So in some ways, one of the like gifts of grief was helping me to realize that like truly slowing down and rest and all my discomfort with rest, all my self-judgment around going slower, all my fear around like not accomplishing super crazy things every 3 months, all of that really part of just really embracing grief. It was like medicine for changing that pace and really allowing myself to again and again just face this message of like, you are not being lazy, you are being restful. And I think that's like a deep issue for a lot of us and a lot of A-types.
Oh, completely. And I think that that's a huge, huge, huge theme right now that I feel like is coming up everywhere that like rest is productive.
Oh my gosh. Yes, definitely. I think one of the things I'm trying to dig out of my subconscious currently is kind of something I'm working on is what does stress produce? Really think about when you're in a state of stress, like how productive are you? And then when you're in a state of calm, what is that producing? And helping me flip the script internally. Because somewhere in my mind, I believe that if I pump myself up and get stressed, kind of get in this stress mode, that I'm going to accomplish more, better. I'm going to be on my toes. And it's such a false thing that has somehow fallen into many of our mindsets where truly if I can be in calm, I'm clear, I can think more deeply, I can communicate better, I can produce my best ideas. And it's funny because we know that. We know that consciously we could teach that to our kids and preach to our friends about it. But like somewhere within myself, I know that like it's a belief that I'm kind of ironing out.
Yeah. I think you can know something intellectually and still have it be such a big part of your identity that it's really hard to shake.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, it happens in like early motherhood. Like I didn't have that so much. Like it wasn't scary for me to like lie with my baby. I didn't feel like, oh, I should be doing X, Y, and
Shira,
Z.
no, I've told you this so many times.
I know.
But have you ever talked about this on the show?
No, actually.
Oh
go
my
for
gosh.
it.
It's so funny, but we have so many friends in common.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are women in the wellness business where social media especially is a huge part of the pace problem, I would say. That it's super fun, but it's also just like the pace is relentless.
Yeah.
And the constant need to like show up there is a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And so when you had your precious baby, you just kind of went off the grid.
I did.
You dropped the account.
I did.
And literally my whole like friend group that knows you, everyone was like, you can do that? Wait. Like everyone was so jealous. And it was such an interesting, to me, it was very interesting, the reaction of like, wait, she just isn't posting. And like this maybe seems a little passe now in 2023, but
Yeah.
when was this?
At the time, it was 5 years ago.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting that everyone was like drooling kind of for it. Like, oh my God, I want to do that. Is that okay? Can I do that? Can I take a sabbatical from this?
Yeah, well, it was interesting because at the time, it did feel like if you don't post, you don't exist type of thing. We've talked a ton about this, and it's like obviously a bit, I could talk a ton about it, but I do feel like there was a huge loss of ego for me in terms of the rest piece. Obviously, I wasn't resting because I was like a full-time mom. I truly didn't have help, and I was, just in terms of just like being incredibly hands-on. And I should preface that with like, not everyone wants to do that. And I think like I super empower anyone to do what feels right for them
on
in their
the mom
gut.
journey or on the social media.
Both.
Yeah.
But then also, I also want to flag that that's also like a privileged thing to be able to do, even though being a full-time mom is incredibly hard and definitely physically the hardest job I've ever had. It's also like, I know plenty of people that wouldn't have been able to at that time take that time. But what I will say is that giving yourself permission to kind of like do it a little differently in the way that feels right for you. Obviously, it wasn't like I was resting. I wasn't like taking a nap. I mean, I was though also. Like when he napped, I did. Like if you're a full-time mom and that's what you're doing all day, then your day starts when you open your eyes and ends when you close your eyes.
Yeah, if you close them.
Yeah, if you close them. Exactly. It was interesting, and it is an interesting conversation among moms and among people in our community.
Think kind of what struck me most about it is we've been talking a lot like lately as we've been spending time about like modeling.
Yeah.
And I think just seeing someone make a different choice, an unexpected choice, just the fact that it makes you think.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you say, oh gosh, there's just not one road forward here. There are options.
Yeah.
And it's funny because some people could probably say like, really, is it a bold move? But it is a bold move when in this industry right now and this economy, it is so much a part of the work. So it was just really interesting, like I said, to see it modeled. I think it opened people's minds to like, oh gosh, okay, there are seasons, there are options.
Yeah. And I think in terms of, just the social media thing in general, I think that what you find is that when you feel like someone's using a formula online, I know I'm kind of allergic to that. But when I feel like more and more when you feel like people are showing up as themselves as messy or whatever as it is, it's like, wow, I want that and I want more of that. At that time, I think what was happening was that the momtrepreneur situation was happening.
Kind of peaking.
And everyone's now a mom expert. And I wasn't. I was a new mom. I was a nutrition expert, but I was also just a new mom. And I didn't really feel like showing up as like, here's the X, Y, and Z I'm feeding my baby, even though I was, and I felt good about that. For me, it didn't feel authentic. But I am finding that no matter who you are, showing up as authentically you, whatever that is, ends up being the thing that works.
Absolutely. The term I keep coming back to with the problem of social media for all of our mental health, both people consuming it and creating it, is pace. And so there was this sweet spot with blogs where I feel like, and I think the Substacks are like getting into that of there's this more natural pace that provides us like innately with a little more of a boundary.
Yeah.
I
feel like you obviously get sent a million things and you're, checking out things for Chalkboard and everything. What are some of the fun, wellnessy, witchy, whatever things that you're into that we want you're into the gloss?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Whether that's beauty or
Well, I told you when we were even prepping for this, I'm like, if it's on the chalkboard, that's the curation.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things that come to me or that are pitched to the team that don't make it to the site. Right. Yeah. So innately, that's the curation. And there are so many interesting things that one of our most popular formats for content is just like 12 things in this category.
Yeah.
But so often I want to just like, here, I just want to spotlight something almost every day of like, oh my God, this.
Like I'm obsessed with this.
Yeah.
So what are those things?
Yes.
Tell me.
Higher dose PEMF mat and
Oh,
higher
yeah.
dose infrared mats. I love those.
I love infrared.
Love infrared and their PEMF mat. I am telling you, I've been to events where it comes up and women are like, let me tell you about my PEMF mat. Like,
What is it?
So PEMF is another frequency thing, which again, here we are. Frequency used to be like one of those things I like study on the side, but not bring to the chalkboard because people were just
It's too
only
out
ready
there.
for kale 10 years ago. But now frequency comes up a lot. And I know, I'm fully aware of how skeptical people might be of this stuff. This is why as technology, especially medical technology, gets really fine-tuned and really intense in the next few years, we're going to be understanding things like frequency and energy a lot better. Some of the woo stuff we think of as woo is just going to be able to be measured and tracked better.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an exciting time in wellness in that way. But PEMF is, to put it in short, it's like the frequency of the planet. It's like the, grounding when they say, hey, when you get off a plane, take off your shoes, get your feet on the ground. And when you go to the beach, like you feel so grounded. PEMF is like that very low level frequency that basically grounds you.
Oh, interesting.
And grounding is something people are so skeptical of. But when you think about how weird it is that like, when did your feet touch the actual dirt or earth today or this week? And when you realize like how rarely that is, you go, yeah, that's why grounding is a thing, is because it's actually really weird that we don't touch the ground. And so grounding is just us doing some like newfangled modern thing to get us back to like really basic human stuff.
Right. Well, I think so much of wellness is getting back to those basics.
Yeah.
And those fundamentals.
Yeah. They sound so kooky, but it's kind of the opposite. It's that we're doing really kooky things by like living up in the sky in a building and driving around in a car and never even touching the planet.
True. I think authenticity, getting back to basics, and maybe some vibrations.
Yeah.
I'm really into it.
And those are all nervous system things.
Yeah, it is. And I think it comes back to that idea that it is a huge piece of wellness is that, like coming back to yourself, taking good care so that you can slow your nervous system, so you can make thoughtful decisions and whatever that means to you.
Yes. And there's such a correlate, right? For pain, for like weight loss and weight gain, for all the kinds of physical issues we have, they have emotional correlates. A lot of the most exciting ideas in wellness come from traditional Chinese medicine or from Ayurveda. And all of these ancient systems like map this stuff, or whether it's like the chakras and I know it's all very woo, but understanding the emotional and like mental, like thought-based correlates to a lot of our physical ailments and problems can get you where you need to be or want to be, or solve the problems that you have physically faster.
Yeah, I think that is the core of so much of wellness. And I thank you so much for being here.
Yes,
This
so
is really
fun.
fun having you. And I get to see you like in person at work. How fun.
I know. So great. Thanks for having me, Shira.
Thank you. Where can we find you online?
Yes, the chalkboardmag.com is our site online. And we're also under the same name on like every social platform. We have a really great email subscriber program right now. I think it's never been better. And I think our team is kind of most excited about that. So you can find our newsletter also on the site or in our Instagram handle. You can sign up there.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Good Instincts, hosted and written by me, Shira Barlow. You can find me on Instagram at Shira_RD. Good Instincts is a Dear Media daily. Today's episode is brought to us by ZocDoc. When we're not feeling our best and we're just trying to hold it all together, finding great care should not take up all our energy. That's where ZocDoc comes in, using their free app that millions of users rely on. You can find the right doctor that meets your needs and fits your schedule. Book an appointment with a few taps in their app and start feeling better faster with ZocDoc. Thousands of medical professionals on ZocDoc are there to help you. They listen like a friend and they give you the expert care that you really need. I was sick recently and I looked around on the app and I really appreciated that there were so many people right by me. It made it really easy for me. And the last thing I wanted in that moment was to have a bunch of steps, and I appreciated that they were all done right there in one app. The thing I really love about ZocDoc is it just makes it really, really easy. You can choose from thousands of patient-reviewed doctors and specialists, browse doctor profiles, upload and verify all your insurance information, and get the care that you really need. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them and treat almost every condition under the sun. Go to ZocDoc.com/instincts and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/instincts. ZocDoc.com/instincts.
Please note that this episode may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products and services. Individuals on the show may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to in this episode.